Hi, I'm Professor Beck Strah.
And I'm producer Brit.
And I'm Dr. Andrew Baranauskas.
And you're listening to Prison Breakdown.
2, 3, break!
Hate to spoil his fun, but we're gonna bust out of here.
2, 3, break!
I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
2, 3, break!
I can honestly say I'm a changed man. No danger to society here. God's honest truth.
2, 3, break!
I'm not leaving this cell. I'll get out my way. The right way.
2, 3, break!
Ahoy, dudes! Welcome back to another episode of Prison Breakdown. I, your host, Dr. Beck Strah. I'm joined by dear friend, now friend of the pod, Dr. Andrew, the Bear, Baranauskas.
Hello. No one calls me the bear, but I'll accept it.
Yeah, but do you watch the show?
The show, The Bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
How about bears? Do you like
Yes. Yes, chef. I should have answered in the affirmative that way.
them? See, that's good podcasting.
Yes. We got a nice banter going already. Tap in, folks. This is going to be a good one.
And we're also joined by producer.
Hello. Welcome
That's
to the
producer
pod.
Brit.
Yeah, that's me. Welcome.
That's the silky tones of his voice.
No,
Let me
yeah.
ask you too, as an animal,
Mhm.
do you like bears?
Do I like bears?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like the animal?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say I've ever met one in person. I've seen them at like the zoo. They're yeah, I do.
okay. Yeah.
You asked me yes.
Podcasting.
You
bears.
asked me a yes or no question. That one's on you, Beck.
How do you
Open-ended
like
questions
bears?
allow for more elaboration.
How do you feel about bears?
Well, now that you mention it, I feel quite I like them.
All right.
We're
This is all
2
a
minutes.
big edit.
We're 2 minutes in, and we've gone completely off the rails with a single question. You derailed the podcast with a single question.
Andrew brings out only the worst in me. Dr. Andrew Baranauskas is a professor, an associate professor now. Congratulations on your
Thank
tenure
you.
appointment.
Thank
Associate
you.
professor of criminal justice at the state of New York, Brockport.
Yes, State University of New York, or SUNY for short, Brockport. That is correct, just outside of lovely Rochester.
We're going to be talking a little bit about Rochester today.
Oh, yeah.
One of our most prolific individuals in all of prison ventriloquism, the topic of today's podcast. He's out of Rochester, so I hope you run into him sometime.
Maybe, yeah. I'll have to get
He's a
him.
puppet.
Have to get him into like a guest speaker thing at school or something.
Oh, God. I wish only that for you. So let's start the conversation with a little banter that's better than do you like bears? If the person sitting across from you was a food, what food would they be?
So you mean like the person currently sitting across from me?
It's me and Brit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I asked, because there's literally no one like physically across from me. So you're asking me if you and Brit were foods, what would you be?
Yeah, just a little banter to start the pod, to get the wheels turning, get the listener invested.
Well, Beck would definitely be fish sticks, but only if eaten in the morning.
Fish stick breakfast. Andrew and I, for the listener, Andrew and I used to live together, and I would have a song that I would sing every time I made fish sticks for breakfast, and it would go fish stick breakfast. I'd go, hey Andrew, you know what I'm having for breakfast?
Is this
And
the
Andrew would
first time
reply.
Is this the first time that fish stick breakfast has come up on the pod? Because you talked about it as if it's something that you've talked about before. Like you just said like, yeah, every time I have fish sticks for breakfast, like it's something that people normally do. Like, so if you've talked about it before, then okay, I get it. But I think there's a lot of listeners, probably at least, one out of both of them are being like, what? Fish stick breakfast?
Quick producer question. Are you trying to sabotage the podcast intentionally?
Me or Andrew?
You. What is this?
No.
This is
No.
once again you have derailed the podcast with a single question.
Beck's in like silly mode.
Yeah. What is
He
he's got a
gets
case.
together with his old friend, his old roomie, and it's just like, oh, let's just be silly.
Someone didn't shake his sillies out this morning.
Yeah, you got to wiggle those waggles away, man.
Oh, you know Raffy.
Oh yeah.
I have an 8-month-old. I'm very well versed in Raffy.
Heck yeah, you gotta be.
Oh, I'm pre-Raffy at the moment, but I'll get there.
Oh, you definitely will.
So the question is, if Raffy was a food, what would he be?
I can't think of anything outside of fish sticks, so I'm going to say fish sticks.
I mean,
Fish sticks made out of beluga.
I mean, he'd be baby food, right? Like he'd be food for he makes music for babies and kids, for the very young. He make food for the very young. So maybe fish sticks.
He'd be something that's like really sweet, but also like good for you.
Yes,
like honey.
No, pureed sweet potatoes.
Okay.
I hate to pull this on you, Andrew, but beluga, it's not a fish. It's a mammal.
It's true. You got me there, Beck.
It's a mammal sticks.
Checkmate. Oh man, he got the best of me on this podcast. Is this why he got me on here? Just to embarrass me like this?
I
have a humiliation fetish for other people.
I don't think you're the one being embarrassed right now, Andrew. I don't know if Beck is as a host of this podcast or I am as the producer of the podcast, but someone's facing some severe humiliation at the moment.
We'll never know.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, all right. All right. We got through fish stick breakfast. Let's talk to the listeners a little more about this. Andrew, how would it go every time I was having fish sticks for breakfast?
I mean, what do you mean? How would it go? I mean, you would make fish sticks and then eat them. Like, and yes, you would sing a little song about it. I mean, that's kind of the entire story.
Don't diminish my song. It was a big song. It was my like opening number.
Yeah, and now you have to perform it for the listeners.
Brit, give me a beat.
Fine.
Fish stick breakfast.
That was it?
Yep, that's it.
That's all.
Oh.
That's the whole song. I didn't write words or lyrics.
Yeah, it's a really cool story. Great banter, guys.
Let's move on to that razor wire.
Fresh news, hot off the razor wire.
Let me open the paper and see what's going on today.
So we got a story from across the pond here. This one is from the BBC, and its headline is, "At least 4 prisoners freed in error, still at large." So at least 4 prisoners released in error in the UK and Wales are still at large, the BBC has been told. These are among 262 prisoners in England and Wales mistakenly released in the year up to March, up from 115 the previous year, which seems like a lot. Seems like a lot to me, but I don't know.
115 in one country.
For the previous year, right now in this year already, they've mistakenly released 262.
That's bananas.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on in the UK, but they're running They're running a kangaroo system over there.
Also, like they have way fewer inmates than we do. I wonder how many people are released every year mistakenly in the U.S. I don't have that kind of numbers, and I've never seen them.
Yeah.
But in the jail system I worked release often, and it would have been difficult to mistakenly release somebody. There's so much paperwork involved.
Yeah, right.
You see, I thought the Brits would have been a bit more polite, and they'd be like, "Oh no, I'm not supposed to be released. I'm good."
Oh yeah, they would like play by the rules, right?
Yeah.
So according to some U.S. data here, between 2009 and 2014, just 157 inmates were erroneously released. That's over a 5-year period. So that's about like 30, 35 a year. So the UK has a problem, apparently. With,
I think they need a software update.
Yeah, something's going on in the UK that's just like not correct. So this new information, reported first by ITV News, comes as the government is under increasing pressure after a number of high-profile cases of prisoners being wrongly released, including an Algerian sex offender who was mistakenly released from prison, but was finally arrested by the police on Friday. So Brad Corey-Kasherem was one of the two men separately released by mistake from HPM Wandsworth in the same week. Both of the men are now back in custody after another prisoner named William Smith handed himself in on Thursday. The releases came after migrant sex offender Hashu Kabatu, who arrived in the UK on a small boat, was mistakenly released from HPM Chelmsford in Essex late last month. Well, that's just the BBC being racist there. We don't need to be a migrant sex offender. They're just a sex offender.
Yeah.
So the Ministry of Justice spokesperson said, quote, "The vast majority of offenders released by mistake are quickly brought back to prison, and we will do everything we can to work with the police to capture the few still in the community," unquote. But there's still widespread criticism of the government's handling of the issue, in the first place of just releasing people. So the unaccounted for prisoners revealed, quote, "the incompetence of this government," Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick said. And also,
what the hell is that?
I know.
What is a Shadow
Isn't that the
Justice
coolest
Secretary?
title of all time? Yeah, I want that title. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Shadow Justice.
Shadow, the shadow knows.
Yeah. I was thinking, how could I work this into a joke about the shadow? But thank you for making a good joke that would have been relevant 31 years ago.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So a spokeswoman for the Liberal Democrats said every resource must go into finding these prisoners, saying, quote, "This is a disgrace and an omnishambles," which is a great word, by the way. Omnishambles.
Yeah, why don't we use omnishambles here? They have better words than we do.
Yeah, some of them. They add like "use" to things for no reason, like flavor and color. Like, who needs that?
The word of the year here, I believe, the adopted by Merriam-Webster was 6-7.
It was. It certainly was. Yeah.
Andrew, are you familiar with 6-7 as the youth are saying?
I mean, I know it exists. I don't really know its etymology, and I don't really think anyone truly does.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it in the real world, just mainly on the internet.
Oh man, I'll tell you, I was at Costco the other day, and my order number was like 682, and there was a bunch of kids like there getting like chicken bakes and slices of pizza and stuff. And let me tell you, every single number that started with 6-7, they freaked out, and I wanted to kill myself.
Don't do that.
No. I mean, I want it. I'm not going to. But wait, freak out or myself.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I won't. Don't worry. We're good. Producer's note: I won't do it. So the quote continues, "It shouldn't have to take the media to inform the public that prisoners are at large after accidental release," the spokeswoman said. Yeah. In addition to the 4 mistakenly released, it has emerged another man is also at large after absconding from an open prison. Oliembola, who is serving a 21-year sentence for offenses including kidnap, GBH, and possession of an offensive weapon in public, was moved to open conditions in September and absconded from HPM Ford in West Sussex on the 10th of October. Sussex police said it was working to locate the man, who is jailed in December of 2018.
Wait, Essex police or sex police?
Sussex.
Sussex, okay.
Sussex, yeah, West Sussex. So it sounds like people are just like leaving. People are wrongly released. It seems like they're making a lot of mistakes there.
It does, and it makes me think if I was mistakenly released, I would get the hell out of there. They would not. They would not find me.
No.
I'm out of there. I'm not staying in the area.
I'd cross the pond. You know what I'm saying? I would probably not be in England anymore if I didn't have to be.
I mean, I wonder what kind of repercussions, because it's like, yes, it's the the prison's mistake that you get released. Would you get punished if you're not like, oh no, I'm sorry, like something's wrong here, I'm not supposed to be released? Like that'd be like really crappy if they punished you for,
right?
Yeah,
for not correcting their mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for not asking for more homework.
Right.
By leaving and going home like they told you to do.
Yeah,
because the system has told you they're not holding you any longer.
What prisoner is going to be like released early and be like, wait, are you sure though? Like,
sure?
do you want to let me out? I don't know.
No,
yeah, and I know
it's so stupid.
And I know it happens, at least in the US, that like sometimes you do get released early, right? Like if it's like overcrowding or like, I don't know, sometimes you could get like a surprise release. Like I had a student who was, I have one student whose dad serves time, and she tells me stories about it all the time. And she said that when he got released, it was literally like middle of the night. They're like, oh, you're out of here. And they like put him on a bus.
What?
And so I imagine if that's a situation that happens and like you're told you're out of here, you got to just take them at face value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How would an umpire say it, Andrew?
An umpire? Safe.
I think it's a you're out of here.
You're out of here. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. No, it's good. Safe. I like that better.
Yeah, you're doing a great hosting job today, Beck. So,
I'm being sabotaged.
Are you?
Yeah,
okay.
it doesn't help that I'm purposely trying to not play into his shenanigans.
No, that's. I appreciate you for that. Thank you.
That's what Andrew always does. It's our back and forth.
Well,
I think the big takeaway is that we need to integrate the word omnishambles as much into our vocabulary as possible.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I appoint myself the Shadow Justice Secretary of America.
The Shadow Justice Secretary of Omnishambles.
Yes.
Yeah.
When is this podcast going to be released?
In a week and a half from now.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Well, a week and a day from now, the 17th of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
I was just going to say, because Beck and I are attending the American Society of Criminology in a few days, and I was going to say, for all of you, enthusiastic listeners out there, if you find one of us and you come up to us and work omnishambles casually in a conversation, Beck will give you a prize.
Andrew will buy you a drink.
That's your prize, is Andrew.
Surprise. It's a surprise to Andrew. Not anymore. Well, that is some interesting news. England, get it together. Mm-hmm. You're releasing inmates left and right, and
England and Wales. Wales is definitely messing up. I don't know. I like to believe it's Wales who released like 250 of those guys, and then the other like 12 are just England and Wales.
250 fish sticks, because beluga fish sticks.
Whale, yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Silence is deafening.
this one's rough. Yeah.
Shall we move on to thank our sponsor?
I think we should.
Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. Hey, that's you.
Yeah. We appreciate you, Roger Williams School of Justice Studies. You have so many delicious degree, graduate certificates, major, minor, Juris Doctorate, and graduate pathway programs to give us.
How about tell us about like some of those graduate programs? What do we have?
Well, we got
what's on the books?
Public management for a graduate certificate. We've got leadership for a graduate certificate. We've got a master's in public administration. That's an MPA. We've got a major, a minor, or a bachelor's in political science. We've got a bachelor's, major, and minor in legal studies. So if you don't want to be a lawyer, but you want to do law for a living, that's a good way to go. You
can learn, set the bedrock.
Mm-hmm. We got a degree in international relations, a degree or a Juris Doctorate in forensic science. We've got a minor in digital forensics, a minor in cloud computing, a bachelor's, Juris Doctorate, major, minor, master's, or graduate pathway program for criminal justice. That's all the degrees right there. And then we also have a major, minor, and bachelor's in anthropology and sociology.
Hey, those sounds like some awesome degree options.
I think they are.
Thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. We salute you.
We do.
You know what we need? We need like every time when we're recording the sponsorship, we need like a caw, like a hawk sound to like go out on.
Why?
Because what's your mascot?
Oh, it's the hawk.
I didn't know that.
I saw him walking around the halls the other day, and he's a big blue hawk, and I think his name's Bluey, which I think they took that from the cartoon dog.
Okay. Cool. I like Bluey.
My school, our mascot is a golden eagle.
Oh. Both of you, as new dads, both of you got to get on that Bluey tip, and you got to show your kids Bluey when they're of the right age, which is like 1 or 2 to start watching Bluey. It's great children's programming.
And that's the segment, advice to new dads from non-dad.
That's correct. From someone who spent time in childcare and knows what's good. I know it's good for children.
Let's make this a regular segment. Advice to dads
from a non-dad. I actually like that. I will do that every week. It's just like condescending to dads.
I'll just hop on and Brit can give us all parenting tips.
Oh yeah, con dad ascension. How about that?
Well, enough of that. Let's move on to the main event. Thanks for that sick tune, producer Brit.
Hell yeah.
Now, the topic for today's main event, we're talking about prison ventriloquism. What is ventriloquism?
Do you not know?
No, I was asking rhetorically.
So
ventriloquism.
Rhetorically, were you waiting for an answer?
Yeah.
So you weren't asking rhetorically. You want us to like set the stage for you.
Well, no, I have something written down here to read from, but you're welcome to answer if you want.
So you want me to just like, in my words, like, what does ventriloquism mean to me?
This is humiliating. Yes.
Well,
What does
well,
ventriloquism mean to you?
to me, ventriloquism is the art of speaking when making it look like you're not speaking.
Yeah, harnessing the ability to speak without moving your lips.
Yeah.
And like a really talented ventriloquist, they can throw their voices, making it sound like it's coming from another area. Like if I was to sit here with my mouth closed and my voice is coming from the other side of the room, I've never really figured out how they did this. And I've watched far too much ventriloquist content at this point. Or you can make it sound like it's coming from a puppet if you're very good. Famous ventriloquist, maybe the world's most famous ventriloquist, was Terry Fader, winner of America's Got Talent, one of the early seasons when I watched that show. He had a Kermit the Frog puppet. He would talk through that often.
I thought you were going to say Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham is another very famous ventriloquist.
Yeah.
What's your take on ventriloquists, you two? Do you have a favorite ventriloquist?
No.
I don't know about a favorite. I mean, I think my ultimate take is it's something when done well, it's very good. Like it's definitely one of those skills that's like, how do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think they sometimes get a bad rap for like being like cheesy, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
It's something
Hacking, yeah.
that like it's an interesting skill set that does require a lot of like practice and talent. I'm just completely uninterested in it. Just like juggling. Like who cares? Who cares how many things you can juggle? That's dumb.
Well, I'm going to make a future episode on juggling in prison. So, well, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna roast you the entire time.
Cool.
what do you think it would be like to be like married to a ventriloquist, or like have like a family member, close personal friend where like that skill is just in your life all the time?
I think it would be incredibly annoying. I think if they used the skills in their day-to-day lives and were like, it wasn't me, but like making a pumpkin say something like that, like, come on, man.
I think
Knock it off.
ventriloquists are prime candidates for marital infidelity.
How so? Elaborate,
this
please.
theory.
Well, if you were married to a ventriloquist, wouldn't you want to fuck someone else?
Can't say that I would. I mean, were they a ventriloquist when I married them, or did they like become a ventriloquist? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine marrying a ventriloquist knowing they're a ventriloquist and someone be like, you know what? I want to cheat on you because of this thing you do.
That's a good point. That's a good, like, because no one becomes like a ventriloquist like later in life. I don't feel like. I think that's a thing you pick up as an annoying child.
Is it like, are there Gen Z ventriloquists? I don't even know the answer to this.
Ooh.
Like, is this going to be a dying art over time? Because I can't picture it going forward.
Yeah, I think it's been a dying art. You know, I think we're in the sunset era for dummies.
Well, we talked about the idea of ventriloquism in prison several episodes back, because it's an interesting idea. You've got all this time to sit in a cell and practice a skill. So I figured it has to be there has to be some people out there who are prison ventriloquists, and it is something that it's there's not a lot of stories of that, but it is more commonly practiced in prisons than you would realize. Historically, the use of ventriloquism in our prison settings goes back to the Auburn system of prisons, which ran from the 1820s until after the Civil War. And for anyone without knowledge of the Auburn system, inmates had to march in unison, lock their arms on the shoulder in front of them. They had to look to one side while they're doing this. They had to work during the day, but they couldn't speak to other inmates. They couldn't even make eye contact with other inmates or corrections officers. And to break the control of the system, inmates would pass notes to one another. They would whisper, and they would even use ventriloquism to communicate with one another. So if you learn ventriloquism, you don't know that it's an inmate talking. So You can't stop me from talking if you don't know what's coming from me.
I mean, how did the corrections officers react to that? Where there's like they hear someone say something, then it's like, oh well, no one's mouth moved. It must have been the wind or something.
Honestly, in the 1820s, I would like if like you hear it coming from like a pipe next to you, I'd be like, this is witchcraft. There's no better explanation at the time. But we also see something similar if we look at the Irish rebels that were being held in the English prisons in the 1800s. Inmates weren't allowed to talk. Voila, ventriloquism. And inmates would use this like modified tapping of pipes, like a Morse code, as a medium for communication. It's interesting to see, like, they try and inmate proof a place and restricted inmates' rights, and inmates will find ways around it so often. And it's just a constant form of adaptation to their surroundings. And it's cool to see.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good like doormat or a greeting card or something. Now, let's talk about modern day ventriloquism in prisons. We're going to talk about this guy first, Winston Pearson Jr. He's a pastor in the Church of Jesus in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Have either of you been?
No.
Nope.
Now, Pastor Pearson, he had previously been into crime, like drugs and burglary and robbery as a teenager. And he got shot, he got stabbed, and he ended up in prison. And he says prison life was extremely rough. And it wasn't until he OD'd before his daughter was born that he converted to religion. And then he gets out and he picks up ventriloquism as a hobby and built his skills in puppetry during the COVID lockdowns in 2020, which is kind of like being in prison for him all over again. He says, I was at home just like everybody else, and the Lord spoke to me, and he said, don't come out of this season empty-handed. He became a skilled ventriloquist and now has 16 puppets with their own names and personalities. And to top it all off, he regularly takes his puppet ministry into prisons where he uses ventriloquism to connect with inmates and teach them about adjusting to life outside of prison walls. Now, if that were you, wouldn't you want someone like him to be leading the way, shining the light?
I mean, I wonder how preachy the ventriloquist act gets. Because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think a fun ventriloquist act could be entertaining. And if you're stuck in prison, it's like, oh, cool, some guy's doing a puppet show. That might be cool to check out. But if it gets really preachy, it might, I don't know, be a bit of a turnoff.
I agree, especially if he brings too much church into that. If you're not like, I didn't come here to go to church. I actually, in doing this, I was looking up like puppetry in prisons, and there's not a lot of like puppet shows in prisons. I think adult men in prisons, they're not looking for puppet shows.
That's a good point.
I love the idea. Like anytime I see a puppet show as an adult, I'm like, ooh, puppets. But I think I'm unique in that way that most people are not.
Yeah.
How do you two feel about puppet shows? Tell me a little bit about how you feel about puppets.
I mean, I can't say I've seen a true puppet show in a long time, but again, I have an 8-month-old, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of them ahead in my future.
Great point.
I went to like an indie puppet show at a place called Mudlark Oddities here probably like 2 or 3 months ago, and like my roommate had met this puppeteer, and they were like, yeah, I'm not sure if he's like the really funny, good type of weird or like kind of a malevolent type of weird. And then after the show, they were like, you know how I said about the good type of weird, malevolent type of weird? I'm even more confused now. It was one of the most surreal experiences of my life. There was a moment where like they were doing like audience participation, and they made like someone dress up as a cow and just moo a bunch. And like, it was so ridiculous that I asked myself, why am I here? And that question in my head was so funny to me that I cried laughing.
That sounds right.
It was absolutely surreal. Go to a local indie puppet show because it's one of the dumbest things you'll ever experience.
Support local indie puppeteers.
Yeah. The worse, the better.
We're talking to you, listener.
Oh.
So
Do you think ventriloquists would be offended if like we compared their act to puppet shows? Like, do you think there's like some weird
there's
bad blood?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's like gangs. They're in like a gang warfare. The puppeteer, like the marionettists versus like the puppeteerists versus the ventriloquists.
Sock puppeteers.
Yeah, sock puppeteer.
Versus the comedian Ed the Sock, noted Canadian comedian Ed the Sock, who is a guy who talks through a sock puppet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him.
Very forgettable jokes.
Yeah.
So we also have a similar story to Pastor Pearson from David Pendleton, ventriloquist David Pendleton. He uses 4 wooden dummies who he insists on calling wooden Americans with distinct voices. And David Pendleton started ventriloquism at age 6. He learned ventriloquism from an old record he found in his grandma's attic. And I wish our grandmother had records in her attic that like could teach us skills like ventriloquism. That would be magnificent.
You know, I don't know if Grandma ever played any music while we were around.
Is she a person who liked music? We'll never know.
Apparently she liked Tom Jones back in the day. But I think
who didn't?
I think she more was just attracted to him. I don't know if she liked music.
Let's have a seance so we can ask her.
Yeah. Is Tom Jones still alive? We should have a seance with Tom Jones and resurrect our grandma.
All right. So David Pendleton, he's a man who learned ventriloquism at age 6. He performs at gospel at churches, corporate events, college campuses, and prisons across the U.S. and actually did a performance for inmates on death row with his dummy. He said with his wooden American. He said he was intimidated by the inmates, but they seemed to appreciate his performance.
Was this part of the punishment? Like, you have to sit through this ventriloquist act. Like, these guys are already on death row. I mean,
no more.
Like, I don't know. I'm having such a hard time like putting myself into the shoes of these people in prison and like being told that like, hey, there's a ventriloquist that's going to come do an act here, especially on death row. Because I mean, is it like, oh come on, like this is going to be lame, like, you know, I don't want to see that, or is it like my life in here is so terrible and boring? Yes, I will willingly consume a ventriloquist show, and it could bring some joy to their lives. Like I don't know, I can't put myself in that mindset.
I don't know. I feel like it's a scheme by the prosecutor to get people to like cancel their appeals.
just throw the switch, dude.
Yeah, just like no, it's not worth it. All right, just
yeah,
it's over. It's over.
Yeah, there's 2 doors. You enter this door to see the puppet show. This door, waive your appeals and straight to the chair.
So let's move on to ventriloquist Willie Brown. He's the head of prison ministry at his church. He's a minister who's also a comedian / ventriloquist, which is like the best combination of all things. He has 3 puppets called Woody, Auntie, and Uncle Rufus. And he says he uses laughter to uplift inmates. And he brings his puppets for prison ministry. And he claims that inmates love it because it's not often they get this kind of entertainment. And even the wardens and stressed COs like it because it helps morale at the prisons. And he demonstrated some of his jokes on a talk show he was on with these wooden Americans. And Uncle Rufus makes jokes like, I wasn't afraid to come in here, but how am I going to get out of here, you know? And Auntie just says the name of pastas as exclamations. Like she'll be like, oh my rigatoni linguine.
All right, that's pretty funny. Yeah.
I kind of like it.
I'm all on board. I want to see this. This is some like I don't know, like subversive comedy type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To meet the audience's needs, he recognizes that middle-aged people like his sense of humor. He touches on current events and family stuff, and in quotes, things we all deal with. And I think this is in violation of inmates' 8th Amendment rights. the prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. I think I have problems with this.
So in talking about things we all deal with, do you think he has to modify his act for a prison setting? 'Cause, I mean, the things people in prison deal with very different from the things you and I deal with every day.
I ate at this Applebee's the other day, and it was it was really good. What do you guys think? You think it's like that?
Or it's like, oh man, I ate this Applebee's, and it's like talk about a crappy meal, and then like crickets, because obviously prison food is notoriously not good.
Yeah. I think that there's something to this, but
or does he try to like go like over the top, being like, oh man, how about that shower? Too bad I dropped the soap again. Like, I don't know. Like, is that how he tries to make it relatable?
Sometimes it's too hot. Sometimes it's too cold. I can't decide.
Rigatoni.
Rigatoni linguine. I'm trying to think of what the things that we all deal with would be, and I think like the existential things, like, oh man, like what is life really? Like, do you think it's that?
See, I don't know. I think it probably just relies on like classic comedian tropes, like, oh man, my wife is such a nag, and then they're like, yes, okay, like I haven't seen my wife, in years. She left me once I went to prison, but yeah, I get that.
But she might be a nag if she was still around.
Yeah, but she really didn't want me to commit crime. She nagged me to death about it.
Now, I sent you both an email before the podcast. I want you both to open this email up. And Andrew, if you could describe for us photo number 1. Brit, can you describe for us photo number 2?
Photo number 1 is a bald man holding a ventriloquist wooden American, because I'm not saying dummy, right? And the wooden American is wearing an Adidas tracksuit, curly hair, glasses, and a black baseball cap.
Yep.
And Brit?
Photo number 2 is, as best I can describe it, is the same bald man in a 3-piece suit with glasses and a goatee. Same man as before, but now he's holding a ventriloquist dummy that the best way I can describe it is it looks like a very, very poor approximation of Ali G.
This man, I'll have you know, this is Walter Taylor, who goes by the Puppetmaster. And Walter Taylor, he was known as a magician, a ventriloquist, and a pimp in Rochester, which is like a real triple threat.
It's a trifecta, yeah.
And his story starts at age 5, when Walter witnessed his father being murdered. And he claimed this caused him to break with reality and split into 2. And then he developed an alter ego through his dummy named Curtis Fly Johnson III, which is the first dummy that we're seeing here, the one in the Adidas tracksuit. So Curtis Fly Johnson, he took the dummy everywhere, and he still takes the dummy everywhere, and they talk back and forth. And he said that in 1979, this actually became an issue when he was being questioned by the police about a murder that he committed at 21 years old. Which can you imagine being that cop talking to somebody with a dummy, trying to ask them about a murder? No, not going to happen. And later in 1979, he gets admitted to prison, and he was, by his account, the first New York State inmate admitted to prison with a dummy. He claimed the dummy was the dark force, and he was the light force. And in the court, Curtis, the dummy, was held by a woman standing behind Walter, who goes by Chris. So I'll call him Chris moving forward. And Curtis is talking, the dummy, and the judge is calling order in the court, banging the gavel, and the dummy keeps going. He keeps claiming Chris is innocent and Curtis should do the time. And the judge said, "You two belong together." And the deputy district attorney tried to protest, but they brought Curtis up and they put him in Chris's arms and they handcuffed the dummy to Chris. Now, I need to tell you, I watched.
What?
Oh. So they handcuffed the man and the dummy together.
What?
And
The judge is like, hey, bring that toy up here and handcuff him to the toy. What is going on? Like, hold him in contempt of court. What are you doing, Judge? Don't. He's humoring him. He shouldn't.
Yeah, the judge knows that this dummy is not actually talking, right?
What if he doesn't? What if he's like, whoa, how's the little wooden guy talking?
I watched a lot of nonsense for this guy. There's a 2.5 hour interview with Chris on the original OG's YouTube channel where he brings out Curtis and his other dummies and he talks with them for a while. You can find the whole story on his website, dummydetectives.com. But they booked in Chris with Curtis, and they x-rayed Curtis to ensure that there were no tools that Chris could use to escape from prison. Mm-hmm. Inmates weren't allowed to wear blue, but Curtis had a blue uniform, and the warden said it's okay because no one could fit into that small of clothes.
Okay.
And after a week in prison, Chris gets booked into prison. He gets Curtis back after a week, and Chris said as long as he had Curtis with him, he could handle anything. There was multiple murderers in the prison who became his friends, and this world doesn't make any sense to him, but he was able to get by. And he got the nickname Puppetmaster by others in the population. And he didn't like this nickname at first. I think it's kind of a badass nickname, to be honest.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah, but then it gets back to the rival gang thing we talked about.
True.
You know, he's a ventriloquist, not a puppeteer.
True.
That's true. I could see why you wouldn't like that. So he didn't like it at first. He accepted it, and he would go everywhere with Curtis. He would go out to the yard in the halls of the prison, and he bunked with Curtis. Apparently, he and Curtis shared a bed, and Curtis had top bunk, Chris had bottom bunk.
Wow. Okay.
He also claims they had different groups of friends. Curtis was a gangster, and Curtis was only friends with the gangsters, whereas Chris was friends with everyone.
Imagining this guy going up with a bumper. Hey, what's up, homies? Like, who are you gonna shank in the yard today? Like, what is this?
He'd be so funny.
Like this is an amazing comedy sketch that just like happened in real life.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Like, no, Curtis, we're not shanking anybody today. No, I want to shank. I want to kill. I'm thirsty for blood.
He takes this whole thing very seriously too. Like there's nothing that serious about it, but the way he speaks about it is he's very like solemn through the whole thing, which it doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So after 10 years, Chris had to give up Curtis, and his wife showed up to take home the dummy. And looking at Chris's account, there's a lot of immature and annoying shit talked on his account. But over time, Chris went to different therapeutic programs that taught him to take responsibility for his actions. And he claims he gets called to the superintendent's office, and he has to destroy, donate, or send Curtis home because he's too much of a distraction at the prison.
How did his gang members feel about that?
Yeah, they should have like picketed or something.
Yeah, just put a prison riot out. Like, you're not gonna do nothing to Curtis. Nothing. Keep your hands off my wooden boy.
Before his wife came in to pick up Curtis, he claims Curtis would take control of his body to fight people. Also, Chris also claims he fought people who called Curtis a dummy. He didn't allow that. He doesn't say if he's a wooden American type of guy or what it is, but it's a really interesting distinction where these guys, like, they get offended if you call a doll that you speak through a dummy.
Right. I bet this guy like still has trouble with like pronouns. You're not going to refer to him as anything but Curtis.
Now, producer Brit,
yeah.
I'm going to drop a passage from his website in the chat about his about Chris and Curtis's time in prison. Mm-hmm. Would you read this for us, please?
All right. So this is a quote from Curtis, and this is my first time reading it. I'm going to pull out the old censorship here. Let's see. So Curtis says, "Now let's also keep it real. Why was I trying to help my man? Because he was my partner and my best friend. Plus, I knew his young, dumb, pretty ass would draw every kind of body bandit. Those are guys, really gay men, who prey on young boys and make them into their own personal bitches. Hell no. I wasn't going to let that happen. And if he did get out after 30 years and dust me off once he came home, then the old partner that I once knew and loved would be an old gay partner with his hands up my ass. Oh, hell no! It took me years to get used to my partner's hands up my own ass when he was young straight and not gay. I did say hands for the record. No one ever put any kind of dick or any other fucked up shit up my ass to make me talk. It wasn't going to start if my partner survived after 30 years and came home again just to join me again. I'm just making that clear."
Let's reflect. What do you two think?
All right. He didn't fuck the puppet, all right? Trust, all right?
The Wooden American's motive in protecting his boy was because he didn't want any gay person's hand up his rear.
Mm-hmm.
So it was some, like, I don't know, anti-gay motivation. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where does a puppet learn that kind of homophobia?
Prison.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I mean, learns it at home.
Although I feel like Jeff Dunham's puppets are also pretty homophobic, and they never went to prison. So,
do you think it's nature and not nurture? Puppet learning.
We could have this discussion all day. All right.
Are Wooden Americans naturally homophobic?
So that's the tale of Curtis. Moving forward, did you know that Fort Mitchell, Kentucky has Vent Haven, the world's only ventriloquist museum?
No.
Now, in this museum, one of the oldest pieces is a ventriloquist dummy head carved by a Nazi prisoner of war in a Russian prison camp in 1942. And the guy who carved it had been a performer before being captured by the Russian army. And he passed the time by whittling a dummy he used to entertain his fellow prisoners of war. The Russians holding this Nazi prisoner also enjoyed his performances. So according to the museum, he would use his puppet to entertain the Russian troops and get additional food rations for his fellow prisoners. Andrew, would you open up and describe photo number 3 for us, please?
3. It's a head, like a wooden head. Really don't know how else to describe it. Kind of rudimentary, not super detailed. Yeah, I'd say it's like a rudimentary Wooden American head.
All right. It's shot kind of spooky,
Mm-hmm.
how they make it look, and I wonder if that is because it is is it supposed to be more ominous because it's from like a Nazi prisoner of war?
Well, also, it's got like a big smiling mouth and pitch black eyes, which I think is pretty spooky.
The whole thing's pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another story about a young man named Tom Hussey coming from Australia. He was an orphaned boy raised by the Salvation Army, and as a lad, he learned ventriloquism from an older performer, and he performed around his hometown of Mackay, Australia. So in 1940, Tom goes off to serve the Royal Australian Artillery during World War II, and he gets sent to Singapore in 1941 as part of the war, and he brought his ventriloquist dummy with him. Imagine getting shipped off to war, and you're like, "Hey, Sarge, can I bring my, can I bring my buddy Joey with me?" But Joey he's a ventriloquist dummy. So Tom's first dummy, Joey, goes with him to Singapore in 1942. Joey gets destroyed when the British stronghold of Singapore falls to Japan. Around this time, Tom Hussey goes missing, and he ends up in a POW camp held in Changi, which is still the largest prison in Singapore today. While this man is being held in Changi, this Australian dude, Tom joins the Changi concert party. So he ends up putting on a bunch of elaborate concerts that are very popular with the Japanese soldiers, which is, I'd never heard of this, but like the inmates being forced to entertain the soldiers of the opposing force seems like a weird, cruel form of hell.
Yeah.
And at these concerts, he introduces his new puppet named Joey 2. And he made Joey 2 with some local supplies, but the puppet ended up disintegrating due to some harsh living conditions because they're also working on the Thai-Burma Railway all the live long day. And a third of the men who were forced to work on that railway ended up dying before being returned to the prison. And Joey 2 was one of his casualties. And this resulted in him building his next creation, Joey 3. Made with wood from Chaney's workshop, he has an articulated jaw using pieces of a 15-inch gun. His torso is made from an American Red Cross ration pack box. He wears a suit and hat made with various scraps of clothing, and it's autographed all over by Tom's fellow POWs. The color of his face was made with colored chalks mixed with peanut oil, and his hair is actually Tom Hussey's own hair, which is a weird detail. And he debuted this puppet during a Christmas concert performance called Twinkle Toes. Tom Hussey and Joey were in the first group of POWs released back to Austria in 1945, and Joey 3 is now part of the Australian War Memorial. And he's no longer on display because he's an old puppet that's deteriorating, but he's still held in the collection. Would one of you describe photo 4 for us, please?
I got this.
Give the listeners a sense. Theater of the mind.
That's pretty much how you described him. It's like a little guy in like a beige suit, a little wooden guy in a beige suit. And like there's a bunch of signatures all over the suit, apparently from the fellow inmates. But it's a pretty handsome double-breasted suit here. I don't know. It looks a lot more natural than the other dummies we've seen, or a lot more like classic dummy type dummy. A lot less nightmarish, but at the same time nightmarish because classic dummies are kind of nightmarish.
Thank you. That's about right. The classic dummies are pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Andrew, as a man who has enjoyed a comic book in the past, are you familiar with a man named Scarface, a villain named Scarface from the comics?
Like, no.
He's a man named Albert Wesker. He's a ventriloquist who has multiple personalities and a puppet named Scarface. And the puppet has a dangerous influence on Wesker, turning him into a violent crime boss. Now, Wesker sees himself as a henchman who's there to do Scarface's bidding. And he's been defeated by Batman and Robin and Nightwing many times. And he always finds his way back to Scarface. He has no superhuman powers, and his only real asset is that Scarface has a Tommy gun. And it's never actually clear to the viewer and listener whether Scarface has become sentient or if he's just part of Wesker's mental illness. Unfortunately, in researching prison ventriloquism, a lot of the findings focus on this fictional Batman villain that like it's like a D tier villain. Like nobody cares about Scarface and Arnold Wesker. No.
I feel like he would have made an appearance in one of the movies if people did care.
Yeah. And like we haven't gotten that far into like there's been too many Batman movies, but we haven't gotten so many that we've gotten to this like Calendar Man is another example of one of those Batman villains that like nobody cares about Calendar Man, right?
There's the Toy Man or whatever. You remember that guy who just has a bunch of toys?
I mean, there's so many during like the Silver Age of comics, just like random bad guys. Like, you know, the writers definitely just like saw something in their office and it's like, oh, Pen Man,
Stapler Man, evil stapler.
Yeah.
So we also have a story from September 2023 from the northern Mexico city of Coahuila. And here, police arrested a ventriloquist named Carlos N. And they arrested and handcuffed his very large, they called it a life-size Chucky doll. Together, Carlos N. and Chucky were using a knife to threaten people on the street and demand money. The officer claimed the doll was handcuffed at the request of local media, but the authorities sanctioned her for her failure to carry out her duties in an appropriate manner and not taking her job seriously enough when she handcuffed the doll.
Okay.
Carlos N. was released later that day. This was only considered an administrative offense, threatening people with a knife. And there was no word on whether Chucky remained in police custody.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a strange little story. If you look at the bank of photos I sent you for this podcast, the last one is of this Chucky doll being held in custody. It seems very publicity stunt for the police department. Normally we see stuff like this when they like make a bust and they put out all the guns and money and drugs that they found, but this is just a very large doll.
Mm-hmm. Wild.
Now let's end this tale of prison ventriloquism by talking about the town of Harvard, Nebraska.
Okay.
You ever been to Harvard, Nebraska, Brit?
Never been in Nebraska before, I don't think.
I should mention Harvard is a very small town. It's only about half a square mile. Only around 1,000 people live there. Mm-hmm. And their jail is a 2-room brick building that actually put this place on the map. And in 1943, the town of Harvard, Nebraska was selling off unused plots of land for $1.50 each, which that's dirt cheap. And there's this kid, 16-year-old Robert Pickney, the son of the town doctor. And Robert wanted to plant a victory garden during the summer, which were a thing at the time. And Robert is looking through all these plots that are for sale. And wouldn't you know it, the town jail is actually situated on one of the plots of land that is for sale. And Robert, he's a good citizen. So he goes to the town council and tells them, hey, you made a mistake. The jail is actually on one of these plots of land you're selling. Mm-hmm. If you were on the city council, how would you respond?
If I was on the city council, I would, make sure that the jail's not for sale.
They didn't do that. They laughed at him. They refused to admit their mistake. And this is how both heroes and villains are born.
Yeah.
And our boy Robert decided to get revenge on the town council by buying the land.
Good.
So they make the sale. He signed the deed, and the city refused to admit their mistake. Amazing. And they continue to house offenders in the jail and pretend like nothing had ever happened. But our boy Bobby, Robert, he's going to get his. So he puts a lock on the jail.
Hell yeah.
And the city officials come by. They smash his stupid lock and they throw him off of the jail grounds. And they're still refusing to admit their mistake and use the jail that is no longer on their property. It's on his property. Mm-hmm. And Robert knows his rights. He's a smart kid. So he contacts an attorney and he sues the city for rent. And he wins. And this stupid town has to pay the kid $20 a month just to access their jail. But they impose annoying conditions to try and get back at him. He has to raise up his sidewalks. He has to trim trees, cut the weeds, mow the lawn. Otherwise, they're going to take action and charge Robert for not being in compliance. It's like an HOA, but for a city. Right. And during this whole ordeal, Robert's dad gets hired as the town physician. And the stupid town of Harvard fires him in retaliation because Robert is a thorn in their side. Imagine being such a pain in the ass as a kid.
They fire your dad.
Yeah, exactly. So Robert gets he's tired of this shit and he threatens to tear down the jail. And the city wants to keep it hush hush. So they're like, okay, fine, we're going to buy back your property. But they run into a hitch. Mm-hmm. Because in Nebraska, state law allows minors to buy property at age 16. However, the law prohibits minors from transferring a deed to anyone until they turn 21. So he can't sell the land for 5 more years. So his hands are tied, and there's nothing he can do until he's 21. Mm-hmm. And at the time, this story is starting to actually pick up some traction from the Associated Press and Time Magazine. Mm-hmm. And they've published some stories about this stupid back and forth saga. So people are hearing about this. And one of the people who read his story was this wounded Navy soldier who's recovering from World War II in Los Angeles. And the wounded soldier's like, yo, why not put up the jail for our war bonds auction and support the war effort? And so Robert Pickney gets on a plane, goes to LA, and he puts this baby on the auction block. And you're wondering, what does this even have to do with ventriloquism? Mm-hmm. The jail gets purchased by Charlie McCarthy. And this is not a man named Charlie McCarthy. This is a well-known dummy belonging to famous ventriloquist Edgar Bergen. Bergen had heard of the auction, and he sold a shitload of war bonds in Charlie McCarthy's name. And it only cost him $10,000 in war bonds, which were used to finance the construction of a naval ship. And the dummy technically owned the jail for several years. And then finally, all the media attention died down, and the ventriloquist dummy quietly donated the jail back to the town of Harvard, Nebraska. And the jail still exists, and it still stands on the same site as before, though it's now a historical landmark with a plaque telling the tale. And because it's a 2-room jail, it's nothing. So it's no longer used to hold inmates. It's just a historical landmark that sits there still because it has a funny story associated, and it's the only historically notable thing that may have ever happened in this very small town.
Right.
And can you describe photo 5 of the...
it's just I don't know, like a jail. It's the jail with a plaque on it. It's just as you described. I don't need to describe this.
Oh, that's perfect. This is a small brick building. That's all. So that is the history of ventriloquism in prison. How do you feel about ventriloquism after discussing it?
I still think it's a rightfully dying art.
You know, if there's no ventriloquist in 100 years, then the world won't be actually any worse.
No, I don't think anyone will notice.
Yeah. Ventriloquists out there, we support you and respect you, but you know, it's not for us. Yeah,
no one's fiending for ventriloquism. No one's like, shit, when's the next time Jeff Dunham's coming to town? I need to know. I need to see it. Like,
I travel across the country looking for ventriloquist shows. Like
that'd be amazing if there was like a jam band culture behind ventriloquists. They're just like they're the Grateful Dead, like follow them city to city. Like, no, trust me, the show's different each time, man. It's crazy.
I love that. That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Shall we move on to a little a short amount of time where we discuss feature films?
Let's do a movie minute.
Movie minute. Movie minute. 60 seconds with producer Brit to talk about movies.
Hey, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. So, last time, Judge Strah here sentenced me to watch Extreme Prejudice from 1987. So, Extreme Prejudice is an action thriller directed by Walter Hill, best known as the director of The Warriors and Southern Comfort, which we watched last time on the program, maybe? And also written by the writer of The Deer Hunter. This film stars Nick Nolte as a hard-as-nails Texas Ranger who gets caught in an elaborate scheme between a former best friend turned drug trafficker, played by Powers Booth, and a presumed dead deep-cover special ops agent played by Michael Ironside. This movie was rad as hell. Incredible performances from Nolte, Booth, and Ironside, as well as a great supporting cast, including Rip Torn and an especially electric performance from William Forsythe. The movie has what I'd call a complicated script and demands your attention. There's a bunch of twists and turns, double and triple crosses, and a whole lot of intrigue between the characters. But overall, if you give it your attention, it's an incredibly cool, rewarding thriller. One of the best crime films from the 80s that I've seen, hands down. And I'm honestly not sure how I've never heard of this movie and how it wasn't a bigger success. I'd give it 4 out of 5 soups.
Oh, wow. You liked it better than Southern Comfort?
I did, definitely. Yeah.
And where do you rank it among the pantheon of Walter Hill films?
I'd say number 2 after The Warriors. I mean, I haven't seen all of his films, but this one was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
I completely agree. The movie's so cool. And it follows 2 different stories that converge at one point where it's like... Right. These former military guys who are pulling off a bank heist. Mm-hmm. And then it's a guy and his former classmate and his girlfriend. And mm-hmm. there's a love triangle going on between the 3. And you're not quite sure where it's going. And then it all converges. It's so solid.
Yeah, it's a very complex script, but it's very cool. I think it'd work also very well as like a novel.
I agree, and I think Powers Booth, as always, this is a podcast that supports Powers Booth.
He's so good, and I really love Nick Nolte in this. Like Nick Nolte plays a very like Dirty Harry type cop, like, and his like big line in the movie is like, "I'm particular about who I drink with."
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Like yeah.
He was a real like, I'm sick of this shit kind of guy. And,
yeah. I enjoyed it. But very good movie. Right. Recommended. So, Andrew, do you have a film to recommend to me for next time?
I don't know if I have one movie. Have you seen, Brit, have you seen the movie, classic-ish movie from around 2000, Wild Things?
I have. It's been a long time.
Okay, so my recommendation is not Wild Things, but they made 3 sequels to it.
Okay.
Wild Things. I think they were called. The second one I think is Wild Things 2.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is like Wild Things Diamond in the Rough, and the fourth is Wild Things Foursome, which is a nice twist they throw in there.
Okay.
When I was doing research for my book on crime movies, I watched all 4 of them for my chapter on the city of Miami, because that's where they take place.
Amazing.
And I watched them all in one day. So, I mean, my challenge to you would be watch all Wild Things movies in one day. And hopefully your brain doesn't melt. But if not, then I'd say pick one of the sequels and go with that.
I'm going to go for Wild Things Foursome. That sounds terrible.
I mean, you might be a little bit lost if you go straight to the fourth one.
I'm totally fine with that.
Is there lore?
No. They're not like a continuation. It's just everyone follows like the same formula. Like it's just very, very odd.
Now, Dr. Baranauskas, you mentioned a book, and
yes, so I wrote a book called The American City in Crime Films: Criminology in the Cinematic City, and the goal of this book was to take a look at the role that various cities play in crime movies. You know, there's a lot of crime movies where the city is kind of a character unto itself, like the story just really couldn't take place in any other location. So what I do is I look at 5 different cities: Detroit, Miami, Boston, Las Vegas, and the fictional city of Gotham from Batman lore. And I watch a bunch of movies that take place in those locations, and I just kind of write about, you know, what role the city plays as a character in the movie, right? How does the setting influence the story? And of course, I integrated a bunch of criminological ideas in it to help teach about criminology. So I think it's a good read, whether you're into criminology or just, you know, into movies.
This is a great insight. And is it like how Sex and the City is like New York is the 5th character?
Yeah, I you know, hand up, have not watched a lot of Sex and the City, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, like for example, you know, one of the cities I looked at is Miami, right? Scarface, you know, the context of being a place full of Cuban refugees and the drug trade, you know, certainly it'd be hard to have that story any other location.
Yeah, completely agree. Scarface outside of Miami is no longer the same movie in any way.
Yeah, different Scarface from what we talked about earlier.
Very.
Yes. Well, Dr. Baranauskas, thank you for joining the podcast. It is always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah.
And we hope you'll come back and join us again on the pod someday. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we will see you. We'll see you next week at the American Society of Criminology Conference.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. We'll see you later.
Oh, wait, one more thing. You need. What would you say to a light switch if you at the end of the night?
Disengage. Lights out.